I can hear you.
Yeah, from the Pacific Northwest, the lights come on. Josh James in the studio, the legend lives on since he was 2 years old. Glued to the screen, watching Hulk Hogan and a champion's gleam. Now he's grown with the mission, got stories to tell. From the indie halls, echoing the ring bell. Every Northwest hero, every rising star. If they're stepping in the ring, he's not far. Oregon Wrestling Observer, where the passion runs strong, never stops, never over. Josh James in the chair, hit record, hit the stage, spotlighting every fighter on the PNW page. Oregon Wrestling Observer, feel the crowd rise up as the voices get louder. From Oregon, Canada, and Washington, he's the man with the plan, bringing wrestling to the world. One show for the fans. Yeah, raise your hands in. Yeah, raise your hands, hit the mat, feel the roar tonight.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joshua James, and welcome back to Oregon Wrestling Observer, the first episode of Oregon Wrestling Observer of 2026. And with me is a special guest, is a good friend of mine. He is the Pacific Northwest referee, Sign Guy. How you doing, Sign Guy?
I'm doing great tonight, Josh. Thank you so much for having me on here.
I'm so glad that you're a part of this. Thank you for taking the time to being a guest on this show. I've been looking forward to talking to you. I'm looking forward to talking to you about some wrestling and all. But how you been? How's life been treating you, my friend?
Not doing too badly. Mr. Sun Guy had a little bit of a minor operation last week. We had to take care of that, but everything's going great now and off to a pretty decent start for 2026.
Well, that's really good to hear. I'm glad you're doing pretty good. I'm glad everything's all right. I didn't know about I didn't know about that. Like, what happened, if you don't mind me asking?
Just a couple of kidney stones that needed to be removed, so it was nothing too major.
Okay. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're hanging out with me right now. It feels good to talk to you and good to see you again. I haven't seen you for a while.
Been too long.
Yeah, it's been too long. Hopefully down the road to see you at Roundtable Pro Wrestling. I'd love to see you there.
Talk to your local bookers. I'm always open.
I will talk to him if Blood would tell me who the general manager is, because Blood's not telling me who he is, or she. I don't know. But anyways, so I wanted to talk to you about like wrestling, because when I met you, you're refereeing, but I also want to talk to you about like how you got into wrestling, because you've wrestled a couple of times, and I want to talk about stuff like that. Like, how did you get into wrestling?
I did not take the normal path. How I entered was a long time ago. We were living in Indiana, which is where I'm originally from, and attending a local promotion called Hoosier Pro Wrestling. Mm-hmm. I would take the sign would fall out of my hands and into the hands of Dice Man Ronnie Vegas usually, and he would accidentally fall into his opponent's head with that sign 15, 20 times. And we did that for quite a while, and really without telling me or giving me like a firm, like, this is what we're doing, they sort of brought me into the business and planned spots around me, knowing I would be able to pick up on what they wanted, and that worked. And they just slowly brought me into the business that way. And I worked for them after we moved back to Seattle. Whenever I would go back into town, and we would do shows with them, that led to pretty much every role except for referee for Hoosier Pro Wrestling. I ring announced, I managed, I wrestled, I did all sorts of things there. And then after a while here in the Pacific Northwest, people knew I was doing that, and I slowly got used on shows out here in the state of Washington and in Oregon, and that grew and grew and grew until we are where we are today.
That's cool, yeah, because like it just, when I first met you, you were a referee, and like when I got to know you, I didn't know you wrestled, but now knowing the backstory of it, that's pretty cool. And what made you decide to be a full time referee instead of wrestling? What made you decide yeah, I'm gonna be a referee? Like what?
I honestly still do everything, just depending on the location and the promoter, what they need. I was taught learn how to do everything because you never know. So I still do wrestle in different places. I manage in
Okay,
different places. But the way I got to referee was a promoter out here named Ron Von Hess came to me and asked me to special guest referee a match. And I said, I've never done that, but I know the guy to talk to help me with that. I went to Jason Harding, who was a referee at Ring of Honor and Dragon Gate at the time. He later went on to sign with WWE as Jason Ayers, and he helped me get ready for that and taught me everything that I could learn to be prepared for that, and stayed with me. And he'd watch footage and he would break down matches, tell me everything I did wrong, everything I did right, where I can improve, how to improve. And so he essentially taught me how to referee based on that being at the time a one-off special guest referee spot. The guys on the show liked what I did, and they started asking me to referee their matches. And so pretty soon I was getting asked to referee pretty much every show, no matter what I was originally scheduled to do. So people just kept using me as that, to where now that's, I would say, predominantly what I do, but I still do a little bit of everything.
okay, okay, yeah. Because every time I saw you, you were always refereeing, and the one time I saw you wrestle is against Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast's own Shane Husky, and you lost that one, and with a little bit of help from Bad Blood, so it's technically 2-1. So, but how do you feel about that? You lost to Shane Husky. Speaking of which, he commented, and he's just like, he hasn't gotten over the whole rivalry between you and him. That's the one thing.
I gave him the name the Ding 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 Kid. The way that started out was there was a match and he got excited, rang the bell early, and I yelled out to him, "Hey, you don't decide when the bell rings. I decide when the bell rings." And that kicked off the rivalry. And eventually he challenged me to a match. So I said, I could beat the
Oh,
Ding 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 Kid, no problem. But then they brought in that ringer Bad Blood as the special guest referee. And as the worst special referee in the history of special referees, he kicked me right in my face and allowed the Ding 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 Kid to get a quick fall on me. I still think the 3 count was only 1.5. Bad Blood sped that thing up quick.
yeah, yeah. It's just Shane. He talks about you a lot on the show. He said he was willing to end the rivalry with you, but it seems like it's still going on for what it sounds like.
I'd end it with a sign right upside his head if he wants.
Okay, I see. Okay, I got you. All right. Maybe we'll have to figure out something. But speaking of wrestling, you've wrestled. Who was your favorite guy to be your opponent, or the match that you've ever official a match? Who was the one match that you could think of oh, this was my favorite match I was in, I was wrestling, or this was my favorite match because I was the referee in it? Which one was your favorite?
That covers a whole lot of ground. To referee, anytime I got to referee, the late Kevin Sullivan meant a lot to me because he was in my holy grail of wrestling. It was Kevin Sullivan, the Gilbert family as a whole, and Terry Funk. So anytime I got to referee for Kevin Sullivan was really special. Didn't matter who the opponent was, how big of a show it was, if there were 8 people in the crowd or 800. I always looked forward to that. As an opponent, there were a lot of opponents out there that I was very fortunate to wrestle. One that really stands out, I did a 6-man tag. I was with My partner's the High Rollers, and we wrestled Officer Greg Burns, who at one point in time was the head of security at the USWA in Memphis, and had become uh, a little bit involved with Hoosier Pro Wrestling at that point. And he teamed with Dangerous Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich, and we did a 6-man tag there. And if I hadn't lost that match, I would have won it.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a good record right there. I could tell you right there. And we were just talking about these guys. Like, oh well, well. Blood said this Sunday's Roundtable Pro Wrestling. So if you want to come down, like, we'd love to have you there.
Let's see, January 11th. I might be free that day.
Oh, okay. I hope to see you there. I would love to call one of your matches because I am the voice of Roundtable Pro Wrestling. I would love to call one of the matches.
Been a long time since you called one of my matches.
It has been a long time. I think the last time I called one of your matches, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, was Power Pit Pro Wrestling.
I believe you are right. Yes.
Yeah, those were fun times. I could tell you that. Like right now, like where are you refereeing right now, Sign Guy? Like, are you still refereeing?
I am. So this month I was at Blue Collar Wrestling the other day refereeing some matches. I was also at Combat Pro Wrestling this past week where I refereed a couple of matches. Coming up Saturday, I will be in Ocean Shores for Rogue Wrestling Attractions, where I pretty much referee every match, every show. I will be back at Northwest Pro Wrestling on both the 17th and the 31st of this month. And next month, I am making my return to the Pacific Wrestling Federation on the 21st. I also will have next month a show for Inclusion Pro Wrestling. So in the Longview, Kelso area. And every so often I pop over to Idaho for Idaho Wrestle Club, which I very much enjoy doing when I get the chance. And I still travel a little bit here and there. I have made my way to Alaska, Nevada, Louisiana, Indiana, Kentucky, Oregon and Washington, of course. So I get around a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a really busy schedule for January. I could tell you, like it's like you're a busy guy. I could see that. Bad Blood asked you a question right here. What about that whole Darth? Is the bounty still in effect? What?
The bounty still is in effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Somebody just tried Friday night at Combat Pro Wrestling to claim it, but they didn't quite end his career. I was hoping that would be the night.
Okay, gotcha. You also got a YouTube channel, and you at one point had a YouTube title 24/7 championship belt one time.
The 24/7 International YouTube Heritage Heavyweight Championship.
Yes, I watched that a lot. I remember, I think it was Bob that was telling me, like one of the wrestling fans named Bob. He told me about it, and he told me he was the longest reigning champion. Where did that come from? Like, what was the idea for that one?
What happened there was I had defeated Buddy Highway for the Blue Collar Wrestling 24/7 YouTube Championship and was prepared to go to Alaska to defend it. But because alphabets did not match up, I was not allowed to take the title as planned to defend it. But I had already promised the people at Alaska YouTube title matches. So what I did is I created my own and called it the Sign of the Times 24/7 International YouTube Heritage Heavyweight title. and we took it to Alaska. Pretty much everyone on that roster won it during the course of a night, and I brought it back, and it was defended literally all over the country. People all over Washington and Oregon won it. Bob Hardy, of course, had it the longest, and people in Indiana won it. People in Kentucky won it. Your fellow wrestling announcer Nick Manawa had it for a few minutes. So it was a hot potato there for a while. It retired when my wrestling daughter, Miss Liz, won the title, and she was expecting, so nobody was allowed to touch her for it, and it just kind of always remained in her travel bag.
I see. Okay, makes sense now. Like I was always wondering whatever happened to that belt, but makes sense. And also she was expecting, so like can't do nothing. Can't hurt a woman like that. No.
Great
But
defense
yeah.
for a title.
Oh, definitely for sure. Like I one time on my YouTube channel, I had my own version of a hardcore title. It was just a replica Intercontinental Championship belt. It was a plastic one, and I put a Oregon State license plate on it, and it just said hardcore on it. And that was my own version of a hardcore title, and it was fun. And never did anything with it ever again because like timing and work scheduling just didn't have time to do it. So like we just retired it, and it was Bad Blood's one of Bad Blood's favorite weapons to use every time when I brought it to one of the shows. So yeah,
That
like,
sounds illegal.
He used it in one of the street fights he was in, so it wasn't illegal. It wasn't illegal. So it was legal to use, but sometimes he did use it when you weren't looking. So that's one thing. So I fully admit he did it a couple times when you weren't looking.
That's frowned upon. I mean, that's just, you can't have chaos like that.
I'm sorry, but you know, Bad Blood, he's not gonna listen to me.
That's accurate, yeah.
But anyways, like, and now like Sign Guy is just like, I wanted to do this. I didn't do this the last time on my shows, but I wanted to, like, you managed and you wrestled and you refereed matches a lot, but I wanted like wrestlers that you really enjoyed working with. Like, what's the one like wrestlers that you enjoyed working with the most?
Dice Man Ronnie Vegas. He'll always be number one. Bad Blood probably got something to say about that, but I will forever be a Dice Man guy. There would not be a Sign Guy without Dice Man Ronnie Vegas. But there is a very, very, very long list of people I enjoyed. We would be here all night if I was trying to list everybody. I've had the most blessed career that anyone in this business has ever had. So I've been lucky to work with a lot of really, really high level talent, a lot of great talent. Just the other day, my nephew Reese Maddox was on a loop. I got to work with him, even though he punched me in the face at Blue Collar Wrestling at the end of the night. I still enjoyed that. But yeah, I worked with a lot of great talents in my day. But Dice Man's always going to be the top of the list because you can't have a main event without Dice Man Ronnie Vegas. He'll tell you that himself.
All right, that's pretty cool. That like just like I've like for as long as I've been around in wrestling, working with a lot of wrestlers, you know, just like doing commentary. I had like there's so many people in my list. Like I'm with you on that one. Like I just can't pick one. But the one person I've always wanted to call a match is I've always wanted to call one of Scotty Mac. I always wanted to call one of his matches. Love the guy to death. He's been a good close personal friend of mine. Like with Bad Blood, him and Blood were my first ever MySpace friends. And I've known him since that long. And Blood hates it when I bring that up. That's why I'm bringing it up again. Because I've been friends with him since but yeah, with you, Sign Guy, you were always fun to talk to. And you invited me to be a guest on your podcast. What's your podcast called?
Turnbuckle Turmoil.
When's the next show for Turnbuckle Turmoil?
We have been on hiatus for a while. We had a lot of personal things going on between the co-hosts, so we kind of went on a hiatus after Blog Talk Radio closed operations, but we are getting pretty close to reopening it, and details will be forthcoming soon. So keep your eyes peeled. It will not be much longer, and you'll be able to listen to Turnbuckle Turmoil once again. But if you do miss us, if you go to podserve.fm, our entire library is there being saved, so you can still download and listen to the shows from the past.
That's awesome, because like when you invited me to be a guest on the show, that was cool, because like I'd never been invited for stuff like that before in the past, and just being invited to be a guest on a podcast was like that's to me it's a big deal, because I'm no one special. But the fact that you asked, hey, would you like to be a guest? And we're doing a super fan thing, and we would love to have you as a guest. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, even for me, like, I was like, why me? And I love your work, what you do on your podcast. And I look forward to when it does return. I do.
We will get you back on there when we reopen for sure. Yeah, we were more than happy to have you on there. Super Fan Month, we talked to a lot of fans. You might remember David Wills, the guy that was famous for it still being real for him.
Yeah, I remember him very well.
We talked to him. We talked to Chris Sater, who is Hulk Hogan's biggest fan. He got cool. Pretty well known. Jay Stevens, who is a local fan out of the Bremerton area, who'd been watching wrestling and attending matches in the Kitsap Peninsula for years and years. Of course, yourself. That was a fun theme month we did. We did a lot of months where we would do a certain theme, and that always was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed all of those.
Yeah, those were really fun. I really had fun with that one. And I remember the question about like if I ever talked to or got to meet Dave Milliken. No, I don't think I ever will, because like the guys, I'm fully gonna say it, he blocked me on Twitter. But it's like, speaking like with wrestling, you watch current wrestling, you watch current WWE and AEW right?
I do.
Okay, like what is your personal thoughts on like some of the wrestlers now in like AEW and WWE? Like, what's your personal thoughts?
There's a lot of really good talent out there, a lot of tremendous athletes. It's possibly the best time to watch wrestling if you're a fan of high flying, like balls to the wall type of nonstop action, because the guys are so much more athletic now, and they have much more time to recover than they did even 15, 20 years ago. They might only wrestle once or twice a week as opposed to 6 or 7 times a week. So even though they're going in a more physical, faster paced style, they have time to recover between matches. And so you're seeing the results of that. It's just a different era now with more athleticism, more chances to take bigger risk, because you do have that time if something happens to recover. And a lot of great talent. I've been able to work with a lot of people that work for both companies that you mentioned, and I wish all of them success.
Yeah, just like it's really cool to see like how things now are wrestling. Like I posted on Facebook yesterday about Obafemi, and what's your personal thoughts on the guy? Because like for me, I think the guy's amazing in the ring. I think the guy is like awesome and like amazing wrestler. Great giant of a wrestler. Like I want to know, like, what's your personal opinions about Obafemi?
I think he's got a lot of potential. You don't see a lot of people doing gimmicks, and he's got a gimmick to him. I think that's going to resonate with the audience, because you just don't see that a lot. A lot of people go out as versions of themselves rather than embellishing things about themselves or portraying themselves as something else. Obafemi's kind of crossing that line where he is a amped up version of himself, but he's also out there doing more of a traditional gimmick. So I think that's going to resonate with fans, and he's really, really large. He's really athletic. So I think he's got a pretty high ceiling there once he gets to the main roster, which looks to be pretty soon.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one, 100%. Like for AEW, like personal opinion, like my favorite right now in AEW is Timeless Tony Storm. I love her gimmick. I love the character. I love the change. Like, you know, when she first went there, she was the punk rock girl, and now she changed her gimmick to Timeless, and I just love the gimmick so much. Like, what's your thoughts on her?
I think she's fantastic. She took a big risk. She was doing something nobody else has done. You've never seen someone on television appear in black and white and do interviews in black and white and be that dedicated to the gimmick. Obviously, she can wrestle, but that's not what the allure is for a lot of people. The allure is she's so different, and you just don't see people taking chances like that very often. So she just resonated with the crowd because she was more than the 15 or 20 other people on the roster. She was doing something different than they were, so she stood out and made a big fan base there. She's arguably one of the most popular people on that entire roster. So that was a big chance she took, and she succeeded. So I hope she does well the rest of her career doing that, or even morphing into another version of herself. It was kind of interesting to see her revert back a few months ago to the punk rock Tony Storm for a brief time, and then go right back into Timeless. Oh, not a lot of people can do that. A lot of people can't make that switch and stick with it. A lot of people have trouble doing that, but she made it seamless.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with you 100%. Like, especially with her chemistry with Luther, Dr. Luther, those guys have such great chemistry. Like, it works perfectly. Like, I didn't think of like the evil doctor, Dr. Luther, as a butler would work. I was just like, that why does that work? That's so, like, it's different, it's funny, it's entertaining. Like, those two just have magic together in AEW, in my personal opinion.
The thing of it is, it fits so well with her because she's doing a 1940s actress gimmick, and a lot of people may not realize that, or fans today, in that era in professional wrestling, Gorgeous George used valets that are very similar to what Dr. Luther is doing. And he's basing a lot of what he does on those valets that Gorgeous George had. But it had been so many decades, the current fans had no idea what he was doing was actually a retread of what had happened in the earliest days of televised wrestling. So it was all fresh for this audience, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
it's like echoing.
Echoing? Do I hear echo?
Yeah, I hear an echo.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. And it's just one of those things. Like, I have fun watching that gimmick. And you're right, it's like Gorgeous George and all that kind of stuff. It's just so fun to watch, and just to, like, sometimes people take wrestling too serious. And I understand why sometimes, but when you see something goofy like that, it's just like, it's so fun. Like, it's refreshing in a way. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. The thing that a lot of wrestling fans like about wrestling is they like to see the characters that entertain them, and they're looking for entertainment. And definitely there's a place for people that come to the ring in pair of trunks and boots and just are straight ahead wrestlers, but when everybody's doing it, you're not giving the fans what they want. They want a variety. They want to see someone like Timeless Tony Storm that stands out. They want to see someone coming to the ring dressed like a caveman, or they want to see somebody coming to the ring that's dressed like a pirate to break up everything else that they're seeing. They want to see the variety, and a lot of promotions today, they don't give that. They just send out an endless array of guys that do the exact same thing, and that's not what they're looking for. They don't want to see 4 hours of what ends up being like one endless loop of a match. They want to see everything, just like going to the circus. You don't want to see just the clowns getting out of the clown car. You want to see the lion tamer. You want to see the juggling act. You want to see all of it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. Also, I want to know is that like for like with wrestling now, like for people who want to get involved with wrestling or like to get into wrestling, like want to be a referee or be a wrestler or be a manager, what's the advice you will love to give to newcomers who are trying to get into the business?
Don't do it. But besides that, there's always a lot of good wrestling schools out there. If you're serious on getting into the business, then there's no shortcut to get you in besides being trained properly, unless you're me, of course. But even I got trained eventually, and it was just unorthodox. But find a good school, find a quality school with a good reputation. Don't just go to a wrestling school because it's 10 minutes from your door. Invest the time and the money to be trained properly, because if you're not, it's going to set you back years in your career, and it's just going to hurt you in the long run. Even if you have to wait longer to get that training, it's going to pay off in the long run, because you're going to be so much more advanced when you do start taking bookings and you are working on shows, as opposed to if you're improperly trained, or you went to the person that has wrestled 10 times in their own career, but they're offering to train you for $100 a month or whatever. So seek out good quality training. Make sure they're a legitimate school. Make sure that they are looking into safety first. Make sure they are putting out quality students. If you see a bunch of wrestlers that come out of a certain school and it looks like they don't know what they're doing, and it looks like they are dressed like the people that are sitting in the crowd, that may not be the right school for you. You may want to look into other schools and find a school where they have wrestlers that look like a variety of different things, and it looks like they are TV ready and they have good quality wrestling gear and take themselves seriously. Because if the school's not going to take itself seriously, other promoters are not going to take you seriously if you come out of it.
That's a really good advice. I agree with you. And like wrestling's not easy. It's not an easy sport. It could be a very dangerous sport too. But I completely agree with you. Look for a right school to go to, and that's some really good advice, son guy. It's just like for you, like wrestling's not easy, isn't it?
You talk about it being dangerous. I almost died doing it. It was a comedy spot in a battle royal, and I almost died. I was pretty close. So it's definitely dangerous. You never can take any match or any move for granted. I've seen people get serious injuries on something that nobody would have thought about twice. And it just ended up going wrong and causing a catastrophic injury. And then, of course, the wear and tear. I've seen a lot of people get wear and tear injuries, and all of a sudden something just completely gives, a knee or a shoulder or a back. The travel itself can take its toll on you. People forget we're in cars, sometimes 500-600 miles a trip. I've done loops where I've gone from Seattle overnight to Raleigh, North Carolina, worked a show in North Carolina, got on a plane, came back, had to get immediately into a car and drive to a booking in Oregon or Washington. So the travel itself takes a toll on you. So what we do does take its toll, but if you have that passion for it, if you have the drive to succeed, if you're serious about it, it can definitely be worthwhile at the same time.
Completely agree with you on that one. And again, Sanga, I want to say thank you for being on the show. I really do appreciate you being on here, and it was fun talking to you. It really was.
Always happy to talk to you, Josh. Anytime. I would love to have you as a guest on Turnbuckle Turmoil once we start up again. I would love to come back to oWo, and we will definitely have to cross paths again at some point soon. It's been a while. I think the last time we crossed paths was at Inclusion Pro.
Yeah, that was the last time I saw you. A year ago right now. That's crazy.
Yep, we're going to have to get you to where I am, and I'm going to have to get to where you are. So we'll exchange calendars.
Sounds like a plan to me, brother. And also, one more thing is they're calling you out. They're calling you out, Sanga.
Maybe I'll have to answer the call.
Oh, boy. Wow. Well, stay tuned for more of that, Maniacs. Well, again, Sanga, thank you for being a guest on the show. I really do appreciate you. Thank you for being on here. I love you so much, brother.
Love you too, Josh, and thank you very much. It was my absolute pleasure to be here today.
Thank you again, brother. And thank you, Maniacs, for watching. We will see you next time. And see you at Roundtable Pro Wrestling this Sunday at Vancouver, Washington. I love you, Maniacs. Take care. See you guys next time. Bye.
Broken bones from parts unknown. Simplify wonders of why. Broken promises revealed.